Welcome back. Today, the most unique Abraham Lincoln wheat penny coins in U.S. history. Coins value in today's market in dollars. First coin. The 1957 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with D mint mark. While some stories and online claims suggest values reaching millions of dollars, the actual value of a typical example depends on factors such as condition, rarity, collector demand, and the presence of any unusual mint errors. The year 1957 was an important period in American history. The nation was experiencing economic growth, and pennies remained an essential part of everyday commerce. Millions of these coins passed through stores, banks, and households across the country. Today, surviving examples provide collectors with a direct connection to that era and remain popular additions to Lincoln cent collections. The coin being discussed today is described as being in extra fine condition with some scratches. Extra fine is considered a desirable circulated grade because much of the original detail remains visible. Lincoln's hair shows strong definition, the cheek and jawline display only moderate wear, and the wheat stalks on the reverse retain clear and attractive detail. Coins in this grade are often favored by collectors because they combine strong eye appeal with reasonable affordability. However, scratches can affect value even when a coin grades extra fine. Collectors generally prefer coins with original surfaces and minimal damage. Light scratches may have only a modest impact, but more noticeable marks can reduce collector interest and lower the price a buyer is willing to pay. The location and severity of the scratches play an important role in determining their effect on overall value. Many people hope that an old wheat penny might be worth millions of dollars. While there are rare coins that have sold for extraordinary amounts, a standard 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny in extra fine condition with some scratches is not worth $8 million. Because the Denver Mint produced more than 1 billion Lincoln cents in 1957, the coin is considered a very common issue. Its large mintage and high survival rate mean that ordinary examples remain readily available to collectors. In today's market, a typical 1957 D wheat penny in extra fine condition is generally worth only a modest premium above face value. Depending on its exact appearance, color, and level of preservation, it may sell for a few cents to a couple of dollars. Coins with particularly attractive surfaces or strong eye appeal may bring slightly higher prices, but standard circulated examples remain affordable collectibles. Collectors still pay close attention to 1957 wheat pennies because of the possibility of discovering unusual mint errors. Certain doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other production mistakes can significantly increase value. While these errors are uncommon, they encourage collectors to inspect every coin carefully before determining its worth. Color also influences value. Copper coins are often categorized as brown, red-brown, or red. Coins that retain more of their original red mint color are usually more desirable than darker brown examples because they are scarcer and often indicate better preservation. Even among coins of the same grade, color can make a noticeable difference in market value. The 1957 D Lincoln wheat penny remains a favorite among collectors because it marks the closing years of the famous wheat cent series. These coins circulated during a period of prosperity and became part of daily life for millions of Americans. Today they continue to be collected not because they are extraordinarily rare, but because they represent an important chapter in American coinage history. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark. Because of its connection to World War II and its place in American history, this coin continues to be a favorite among collectors today. However, the true value of a coin depends on its rarity, condition, collector demand, and whether it contains any unusual mint errors. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During that period, Philadelphia cents were struck without mint marks, so the absence of a mint mark is completely normal. The coin features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the familiar wheat stalk design on the reverse. This design was first introduced in 1909 and remained in production until 1958. Making it one of the most iconic coin designs in United States history. The year 1944 was a significant time in American history. The United States was deeply involved in World War II, and the nation's industries were focused on supporting the war effort. In 1943, pennies were made from zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for military use. In 1944, the mint returned to producing copper alloy cents. Because of this wartime history, many collectors find 1944 wheat pennies especially interesting and enjoyable to collect. The coin being discussed today is described as being in very fine condition with some scratches. Very fine is a respectable collector grade because much of the original design detail remains visible. Lincoln's hair details are still noticeable, the facial features are clearly defined, and the wheat stalks on the reverse display considerable detail. Coins in this grade are often sought after because they offer an attractive appearance without the high prices associated with uncirculated examples. Scratches can affect a coin's value regardless of its grade. Collectors generally prefer coins with original surfaces and minimal damage. Light scratches may only reduce value slightly, while deeper or more noticeable scratches can have a greater impact on collector demand. Eye appeal plays an important role in determining how much a coin may sell for in the marketplace. Many people hear stories about old pennies worth millions of dollars and wonder if their coin could be one of those rare treasures. A standard 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with some scratches is not worth $3 million. Although the coin is old and collectible, it was produced in large quantities, and many examples remain available today. Because of this large surviving population, ordinary examples generally command only modest prices. In today's market, a typical 1944 Philadelphia wheat penny in very fine condition is usually worth a small premium above face value. Depending on the exact quality, color, and overall eye appeal, most examples sell for a few cents to a few dollars. While this may not sound dramatic, collectors still appreciate these coins because of their historical importance and connection to a remarkable period in American history. One reason collectors carefully inspect 1944 wheat pennies is the possibility of discovering a rare error. The most famous variety is the 1944 steel cent, which was accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943. Genuine examples are extremely rare and have sold for substantial amounts at auction. Other mint errors, including off-center strikes and doubled dies, can also increase a coin's value significantly. Color is another factor that affects value. Copper coins are generally classified as brown, red-brown, or red. Coins that retain more of their original red mint color are often worth more than darker brown examples because they are scarcer and usually indicate better preservation. Next up, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark. While stories on the internet sometimes claim that certain pennies are worth millions of dollars, the actual value of a coin depends on its rarity, condition, collector demand, and whether it contains any unusual minting errors. During 1956, the Denver Mint produced more than 1 billion Lincoln cents. This enormous mintage means that the 1956 D wheat penny is considered a common date coin. Unlike rare key dates that were produced in limited numbers, many 1956 D cents survived circulation and remain available to collectors today. Because of this large supply, most examples do not command high prices. The coin being discussed today is described as being in good condition with some scratches. A good grade coin has seen extensive circulation over many years. The major design features remain visible, but much of the finer detail has worn away. Lincoln's portrait can still be identified, and the date and lettering remain readable, but the sharp details originally present when the coin left the mint have largely disappeared. Scratches can further affect the value of the coin. Collectors generally prefer coins with original surfaces and minimal damage. Light scratches may only slightly reduce value, but deeper or more noticeable marks can make a coin less attractive to potential buyers. Eye appeal is always an important factor when determining a coin's market value. Many people hear stories about old pennies worth extraordinary sums and wonder if their coin could be one of those rare treasures. A standard 1956 D Lincoln wheat penny in good condition with some scratches is not worth $15 million. In reality, ordinary examples of this coin are quite common. Most circulated pieces sell for only a few cents above face value. Depending on the exact condition, color, and overall appearance, a typical good condition example may be worth anywhere from a few cents to perhaps 50 cents. Despite its modest value, the 1956 D wheat penny remains popular among collectors. Many hobbyists enjoy assembling complete Lincoln wheat penny collections, and common dates such as the 1956 D help fill those collection spaces. Because the coin is affordable, it is often one of the first wheat pennies that beginning collectors acquire. Collectors also pay attention to 1956 D cents because of the possibility of finding unusual mint errors. Although rare, some coins display interesting production mistakes such as off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, or doubled features. Coins with significant mint errors can sometimes be worth much more than standard examples, which is why many collectors inspect old pennies carefully before determining their value. Color is another factor that affects desirability. Copper coins are generally classified as brown, red-brown, or red. Coins that retain more of their original red mint color are often worth more because they are scarcer and usually indicate better preservation. Most good condition coins, however, have circulated for decades and typically display a brown appearance due to age and handling. The 1956 D Lincoln Wheat Penny represents an interesting piece of American history. It circulated during a time of economic growth and social change in the United States and passed through the hands of millions of Americans. Today, these coins continue to connect collectors with the past and serve as reminders of everyday life during the 1950s. Next coin, the 1951 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with D mint mark. Although stories sometimes circulate online about ordinary pennies being worth millions of dollars, the true value of a coin is determined by its rarity, condition, collector demand, and any unique features that set it apart from common examples. The 1951 D Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark located beneath the date on the obverse. The coin features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the classic wheat stalk design on the reverse. This famous design was introduced in 1909 and remained in production until 1958. Because of its long history and iconic appearance, the Lincoln Wheat Penny continues to be one of the most collected coins in American numismatics. During 1951, the Denver Mint produced more than 625 million Lincoln cents. That enormous production figure makes the 1951 D a common date wheat penny. Unlike scarce key dates that were struck in much smaller quantities, the 1951 D survives in large numbers today. As a result, most examples remain affordable and are readily available to collectors. The coin being discussed today is described as being in fine condition with some scratches. A fine-grade coin has seen considerable circulation over the years, but major design elements remain clear. Lincoln's portrait is still well defined, the date and lettering are easy to read, and the wheat stalks on the reverse remain visible. However, much of the finer detail has worn away due to years of handling and use in everyday commerce. Scratches can influence a coin's value because collectors generally prefer examples with clean, undamaged surfaces. Minor scratches may only have a small effect on value, while more noticeable marks can reduce collector interest. The overall appearance, or eye appeal, is often an important factor when determining how much a coin may bring in the marketplace. Many people hear stories about coins selling for extraordinary amounts and wonder whether their wheat penny could be worth millions. A standard 1951 D Lincoln Wheat Penny in fine condition with some scratches is not worth $19 million. In reality, most examples of this coin are common and widely available. Because of its high mintage and large surviving population, a typical fine condition example is usually worth only a small premium above face value. In today's market, a 1951 D wheat penny in fine condition often sells for a few cents to perhaps $1 depending on its exact condition, color, and overall eye appeal. Coins with better preservation or stronger details may command slightly higher prices, but ordinary circulated examples remain affordable collectibles for most hobbyists. Collectors continue searching through wheat pennies because rare errors and varieties occasionally appear. Certain doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other minting mistakes can significantly increase a coin's value. Although these varieties are uncommon, they create excitement within the hobby and encourage collectors to inspect old coins carefully. Another factor affecting value is color. Copper coins are generally categorized as brown, red-brown, or red. Coins that retain their original red mint color are often worth more because they are less common and usually indicate superior preservation. Most fine condition coins, however, have developed a brown appearance after decades of circulation.